And for people who don't know, I still write for Maximum Rock and Roll, and I played in a punk band called Artless for about 20 years. And touring with a punk band is fun. You go different places, but you always stick together and you wind up with those other people. And my doctor said that if I want to keep what hearing I have left, I have to quit playing with a punk band. So I started doing readings and touring the same way by individual readings. And there's some advantages and some disadvantages. One of the big advantages is that if you tour by yourself, you're always the cutest one in the band. But you also get invited to people's houses as like a special guest. If you're with a band, it's like a party house. Somebody puts on Metallica all night, no matter how much you want to sleep. You've got Slayer on. You have a choice between Slayer and Metallica. So if I want to sleep, I take the later Metallica. But if you're by yourself, people sometimes do special things for you. So the first thing that I'll read is from this book, and it's about. It begins. Oh, you know what? There's enough people here. I do this. Sometimes I give out pencils. Sometimes there are too many people. Unfortunately, there are just enough people here. So you'll need them later. Could you take those two? Those two. I looked for Mongol #2 pencils to go with the theme, but I couldn't find them. So I'll cue the pencils later, but at least you got them. So I want to talk about after the show where I got invited. This was in Philadelphia, and I spent the night in a house where the evening's entertainment was this girl hanging from the ceiling. Her arms were above her head. They were held up by ropes, and I was there with Jennifer Blowdryer, the author of this book, and Jennifer was sleeping on the floor, and or at least in a sleeping bag on the floor, and this friendly, slightly heavy metal guy was wielding a belt. The pretty girl with lots of round places was hanging from the ceiling. And then, thwack, goes the guy's belt against the girl's back. And a little welt rises on her skin. And then, thwack, goes the belt against her butt. I'm lying next to Jennifer on the floor trying to fix my face in a relaxed pose as if this happens to me all the time. Most natural thing in the world. To have one of your hosts undress the other, tie her to the ceiling, and whip her with a belt. It's cultural variety, you know. Some people offer you a beer. Some people whip each other. With each thwack, the girl squeals and twitches. She never says stop. She never complains at all. But soon deep red bruises cover her back, butt, bits of her thighs. Then the guy moves to the front. He thwacks her in the stomach, and again. Then he reaches between her legs to do a little bit of clit diddling. She twitches from the thwacks and she twitches from the diddles. And a voice comes from next to me. It's Jennifer on the floor, and she's talking to the girl hanging from the ceiling. Which do you feel more, she asks like a student in psych class. When he does something good to you, or when he does something bad? The guy answers with another question. What is good? What is bad? The girl hanging from the ceiling nods her approval to the question, but by this time nodding is all she can do because the guy has stuffed an old sock into her mouth with the instruction, if it gets too much, just spit the sock out. She never does. I don't have a paddle, says the master, but usually this does the trick. From the closet he gets a red plastic spatula. It's broken along the left edge, but still good enough to flip a nice pancake or lay down a hearty thwack. The various shades of redness melt one into the other. It's kind of like fall foliage on her skin. He offers the spatula to Jennifer on the floor, but want to take a whack, he asks. She shakes her head. For some reason, he doesn't ask me. After the spatula come the ice cubes. Then it's over. The girl comes down, she puts on a nightshirt, the guy asks if there's anything he can do for me before I go to bed. I tell him no, and they turn in for the night and go to sleep. Tonight I'm staying with Charles, and I don't know what he has planned. Now I'm going to relate this to another couple adventures. You look at it like a huge connected dots, and as things progress, the picture will become clearer. So, speaking of connected dots, I want you to take your pencil now, and I want you to hold it in front of your face with one eye closed. And move the pencil so that all you can see is the eraser and maybe a little bit of the metal around it. We have somebody here without a pencil.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now move your head up and down, side to side, but keep the pencil in the same place. Excellent. Every time you move your head, say pencil, 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 pencil.
Pencil, pencil.
Excellent. Now imagine during your entire life, whenever you heard the word pencil, you would see the same image you're seeing now. You wouldn't know any difference. Yellow? You're crazy. Pencils are pink with a touch of silver or green around the edge. Write with the thing? What a joke. It's not even as big as your pinky tip. Sharpen it? How could you sharpen something that's just a flat pink circle? You know what a pencil is. You've seen it hundreds of times. You turned your head and looked at it from all different positions. A pencil is a pink dot surrounded by a piece of metal. Anyone who says different just doesn't have a grasp of reality. Weird, huh? But that's how you see the rest of the world. I've been to every state. I lived in Mongolia for a year. I survived the Gobi Desert. I ate guinea pig in Peru. That's lots of points of view. Some people can't do that. They're stuck one way or the other. Too young, too old, they have no credit cards, or otherwise mobility impaired. But that's not the only way to travel. I'll show you. Let's go back a bit.